Alright guys, welcome to lesson 3. We're going to do a quick one here. Just make sure to pause so you can copy everything down and listen to the explanations. Alright, so we are going to be doing some word problems today. We're going to be writing on page 11 and Zoom will do page 10. Alright, so why don't you go ahead and copy this down and then we'll explain it to you what's happening and then we'll do some work. Okay, now that you've got it copied down, we're going to do some highlighting. You could use underlining or circling or highlighters for your own self. It doesn't matter. But we're going to identify some important pieces here. So here's the thing. When I see a word problem, I don't read the word problem first off. I will come and I will look at the actual question, which is the very last sentence almost every time. And it's asking me, how many of each item did the family buy? So I know I need to identify how many of certain items there were. So then I'm going to look back in the problem and I'm going to find out, well, what are these items it's talking about? And then I read here and it goes, last night at the Blazer game, the McCray family spent $201 on hot dogs and sodas. So there were two things. They bought hot dogs and sodas. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to find out what was talked about here. Well, we're told that the soda cost $1.50. And we're told that the hot dogs were $3. Oops, that's the wrong color. There we go. So we want to make it match. There we go. And the hot dogs are $3 each. So now, something that happens here. So we're told what our items are. So that's what I have identified here at the bottom. Sodas. S is the number of sodas. And H is the number of hot dogs. We usually will use letters that match the item we're talking about. You could also use X and Y if you want. Now, we are told that the number of hot dogs purchased was 3 fewer than twice the number of sodas. This really messes up people. 3 fewer than twice the number of sodas. So that's taking, here's what we do with this piece, guys. So the very first thing is I write this equation right here. I know that the total amount of money is $201 spent. And this is $1.50 per soda. And this is $3 per hot dog. So if you multiply 1.5 times how many sodas you got, that's how much you spend in sodas. 3 times however many hot dogs tells you how much money in hot dogs. So we can add them together to get to 201. And here's the next part. This is the part that drives people crazy. You are told the number of hot dogs purchased. So I'm going to go into a different color highlighter here. The number of hot dogs purchased by the family. So what they've said is they've given you just H. And then here they tell you was. That's like an equal sign. So it's 3 fewer than twice the number of sodas. So down here, we had to do twice the number of sodas. And we're going to do 3 less than it. So this is 3 less than twice the number of sodas. Some people get this backwards. They'll do 3 minus 2s. Pay attention to what's saying. It's 3 less than the doubled amount of sodas. So you got to get the double amount of sodas and then take the 3 away from it. So now that we got this baby set up, and this takes practice. So you're going to want to you're going to have to do some problems. And I've set you up with some on the assignments that are a little bit more simplistic to understand, but we're going to keep working on these. So now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into and take this system because we've got 2 equations and we're going to solve it. And that's the next slide. And here's what we got. Well, guys, this is set up perfectly for substitution. What I just circled is the same as the letter H. So I'm going to plug it into that H. So I'm going to come over here And I'm going to go 1.5s plus 3 times 2s minus 3 equals 201. Now we're going to go ahead and distribute. So this is 1.5s plus 6s minus 9 equals 201. So we're just letting it get a little bit more simplistic at a time. All right, now 1.5s and 6s, these little guys right here, this is really 7.5s's. Now we're going to add 9 to both sides to keep solving this down. 7.5s equals 210. And then we're going to divide by 7.5. Type that into my calculator real quick. 210 divided by 7.5. And I get 28. So they bought 28 sodas. Woo! Holy smokes, that's a lot of sodas. Now, since we know how many sodas they bought, we can plug that in up here to find out how many hot dogs. So 2 times 28 minus 3. 56 minus 3. H equals 53. Holy smokes. They ate a bunch of hot dogs and had a lot of sodas. So they bought 53 hot dogs and 28 sodas. So now, if you wanted to, you could take these numbers and plug them into the equations to make sure that they work. So like I would plug it into the top one. So let's do that just to be safe. Let's make sure our math is good here. So we've got 1.5 times 28 plus 3 times 53. And that should add up to $201. So 1.5 times 28 means they spent $42 on sodas. And 3 times 53 is 159. So they spent $159 on sodas. And of course, 42 plus 159 does add up to 201. It did work. The numbers we have were correct. Guys, this is what we're going to be working on. You're going to be given word problems, and you're going to have to create your systems out of it. It takes time, patience, and practice. Show up to Zoom. Be involved. Keep working these. Be willing to make mistakes, get them wrong, but it will only get easier if you try them out. If you just sit there and look at it and go, it's too hard, and just quit, you're never going to pick it up. You've got to jump in, and you've got to start trying to create them. And then if you mess up, if it doesn't work, you come and you ask me during class so I can help set it up. And then you can see it again. And you just keep doing it, and then it will click. All right, here are your assignments. You need to make sure you take quiz number 1. First one of the semester. And then we've got 2 assignments, ebook 4-51. And then a couple word problems I have you set up on a handout. All right, guys, take care. Be safe.